Hey there, Shauna Bell here from S Bell Wellness, a healthy living mentorship and doTERRA product company. I'm here sharing part 2 today of a series I'm calling Breaking Up with Sickcare. So if you didn't catch part 1, make sure you jump on the YouTube channel and grab that for a listen, just to kind of see where we're going with this series. So today is part 2, and I mentioned something in part 1 about how you are your own self-guru. This is incredibly important to our integrative approach to wellness. To really show up for ourselves is to really believe this and really start to get in tune with our intuition and noticing what our body's telling us and be able to respond to that when we need to. So let's talk a little bit more about that. How can we use intuition as a guide, right? So as an occupational therapist with kids, I'm often talking about what do we notice in our body? Is our heart racing? Or is it going too slow? Depending on how we're feeling. How's our breath? Is it fast or, up in our chest, or is it deep and slow in our belly? How are our muscles? Are they feeling tense and tight, or are they relaxed? How are our thoughts? Are they rushing through our mind, or are they calm and collected? What's our energy like? We're starting to notice body messages, right? And I really, over the past few years, realized when I was teaching this to kids, thinking like, gosh, we can be really poor detectives of this as adults, living in this world of just push through, get through it. We got all the to-dos to check off the list, right? Do you ever feel like that? And so I want us to be encouraged to be better detectives of what's going on in our body, what body messages are telling us, and what we can do to support them. And so a big part of that is really just practicing matching up with a feeling that we desire to experience more of. This practice is sometimes called like acting as if, but it really is practicing your way into this vibration, this feeling of what you truly do desire in wellness. And so I want to talk in this part 2 about vibration. Overall, it's just our state of being, right? And so we are all energy, and it's really important for us to tap into that. How can we make sure that the energy that we are experiencing, the energy we're putting off, the energy we're receiving is something that is serving our well-being? And so let's start off with some things that we can think about for tapping into making sure we are having a very positive vibration. And it doesn't mean that we shouldn't acknowledge any sort of emotions that bring up negative things. That definitely has its place, but I want to talk about really how to stay in that energy that's going to help us feel well. So number 1 is being conscious of our thoughts. It's not to say that we should like dwell on them or really, try to dig in and figure them out in every moment that they're happening. But if we do have these thoughts that are coming up, acknowledge them, notice them, right? Does it need my attention right now, or does it not need my attention? Do I really need to respond to this, or can I do something to really change the body message that's happening? Whether it's, this has made my heart race. Can I do some deep breaths to slow that down? Will I have that same feeling or need to respond? Right? So being conscious of those thoughts is number 1. Number 2 is having an anchor, like site or a word or environment, a space that you go to, or you have with you, something like that to help you when you know that you need to kind of anchor in and realize that there is a space between stimulus and response, and we do have a power to choose. And so this anchor site or word or activity that we do, whether it's a deep breath, a certain stretch, a close our eyes, whatever it is, that's going to help anchor us into making sure that we're keeping that vibration solid. Number 3 is being conscious of how the foods we eat make us feel. There's so much power behind that. For any of you who have experienced some of my coaching before, or my just chats and shares before, you know that I don't talk a lot about here, eat this, because I do think it's very individualized. And so I do work with my clients on that, but on a very individual basis. But what I will share from a broad perspective is noticing how foods make you feel, right? So when you are eating certain things, just kind of noticing what that does for your body. What's your energy like? What does it feel like later in the day? Sometimes we have slow digestion. It might even be how you feel the next day. If you've even looked into skin mapping things, they can say that that can start to come out even 30 days later from the things that we have been consuming. So just starting to notice those things for yourself. If that's something you really want to tap into, food journaling can help you with that. I certainly help my coaching clients with that, and so feel free to reach out if you want to dig into that more as well. And then drinking water. Drinking water is so incredibly important. Our body is made up of so much water. We want to make sure that we are fueling our hydration through that. So making sure we're drinking, enough water in our day. I love to put citrus essential oils in my water just because it really does support more intake. And it really helps to keep the body clean, flush things out, help with that natural detox process. And when I talk about taking these oils internally, you guys, I'm strictly talking about doTERRA because I trust and know that they've been tested and are safe for our body to consume them that way. And then another way that we can keep this vibration up is, meditation or a breathing on purpose practice, whatever that might look like for you. And knowing that it doesn't have to be this lengthy process, but something that you can just pause and do throughout your day, whether you set yourself up for reminders or you start to practice when you start to feel certain ways or notice certain body messages, that is your sign to breathe on purpose. So taking a breathe on purpose practice can be really empowering for keeping that vibration up. Next is a gratitude practice. And so, I personally love my gratitude practice at the end of my day. I have a little prompted journal that helps with that. But there's just so many ways to practice gratitude. And when we are thinking about all of the things that have supported us, big and small, throughout our day, keeping our energy up, keeping that positive vibration, gratitude practice goes a really long way for that. I encourage you to give that a try. And then next up is movement. So movement really does keep our vibrations up. I know this is a big area for me that's ebbed and flow in my own habit stacking practice, and something I'm really working on to make sure that I am doing this on a regular basis to support my body, because I know it just feels so much better when I'm moving on purpose as well. And I think it is very specific, just like I said with foods. I do believe that movement should be very individualized. So that's another area that we often go into in coaching is, how to dig in and figure out which movement is right for you, and is there different types of movement that are right at different times in our life, in our seasons, in our cycles as women, all of those things. So definitely knowing that movement can help with that vibration. So again, if you're someone who is in a job where you might be sitting a lot, that sort of thing, just noticing, set up those alerts to get you moving through the day, and make sure that you're tapping into that amazing natural thing that we can do to help support our bodies, keeping that vibration up. And then lastly, the thing I wanted to share was actually using our essential oils to keep that vibration up. So essential oils naturally have a high vibration in many of them, a high frequency that supports vibration, and I wanted to share some of those with you. So rose is one of the highest vibrational oils. I know for me, that's one that I roll over my heart area every day before leaving for my routine. And I know that that's just really kind of sealing in that positivity, welcoming in that positive vibration for the day. And then I'll tap into it anytime that I'm noticing that I need that. Lavender is another great one with a high frequency. Lemongrass has a high frequency. Juniper berry, cedarwood. jasmine, geranium, frankincense, and then patchouli. I know patchouli is just not everyone's favorite aromatic, but if it is something that you like, or if you pair it up with a floral, I think you'll like that for supporting high vibration too. So that is what I wanted to share here in part 2 of this series of really just embracing intuition. How can we be better detectives of what's going on for us? How can we show up and start to notice the energy that we're bringing to a space, and then what energy is happening around us, and making sure that we are pausing and allowing the space between the stimulus and the response, really leaning into our power to choose our response in that time, and just remembering that we are our self-gurus, and really lean into intuition. And I will see you soon for part 3. Let me know if there's any way that I can help support you with any of the message that you're hearing here. You can always jump on to social media, find me at SBell Wellness. You can also jump onto my website, sbellwellness.com. There's a contact log form there, which will get you direct contact with me so that I can help support you with all of these wonderful wellness things we're talking about in this series.